That sounds so appealing.
Yeah, well, I mean, like in terms of like how are we going to interact with everybody, and what do people want to know, and what can we do that's special for them, and planning live streams and doing stuff like that. That's kind of what I do. But because Rocksmith is sort of a niche, I'll say. You have to. Anybody can enjoy running around and
Right, and you don't say that that's not demeaning. I mean,
no, not at all. It's just that it's easier to say stab people jumping on top of cathedrals than it is to make a commitment to say I want to learn how to play an instrument.
I like you worked in the you told the company line
I could say escaping a madman on a tropical island. But
is that from Rayman?
That's Rainbow Six.
Those are the Raving Rabbids.
Yes, sure.
Rainbow Six, Raving
Peter
Rabbids.
Jackson's King Kong, the movie, the game.
Love that game.
Yes. So the opportunity to work on something guitar oriented was super perfect.
So you get to play a guitar at work.
Not only that, I got to pick out the guitar I wanted to play, and they ordered one specially for me. Yeah.
Did they have like a limit? They're like, all right, man, relax.
Yes, there was a limit. There was a limit, but obviously the office is lousy with guitars. There's guitars everywhere. The problem is nobody really knows how to repair them except for me, and I'm not very good.
Job security.
Yeah, so I was like,
minimal job security.
I showed up, and they were like, yeah, this one doesn't work. We need to get it completely overhauled. And I looked at it, and I literally made one tweak in about 10 minutes, and I went, here you go, guys, this one works now. It's a $3,000 bass, and I'm like, if you want to go ahead and play that now, you can. So yeah, they let me pick out a really nice Les Paul, and they're like, well, you're going to be like the public guy, so and again, we're doing live streams and stuff like that. So there's this blue Les Paul that's like my Les Paul, but it's not mine. It belongs to the studio.
I have to
but
imagine.
It's mine,
See, I'm a guy like I love. I mean, Rock Band is.
Of course.
People that listen to the show know. I mean, you and I, Undead Unicorn, our Rock Band
we had
band.
Our own Rock Band band.
I
we
love
had a poster
the series
and everything, so we're legit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, just one word for it.
Yeah. But I have not been able to cross over into the world of actually learning to play a real guitar, which is the point of Rocksmith, right?
Well, you tried with Rock Band 3, right?
A little bit, yeah, and it actually was fun. I enjoyed what lessons that game incorporated, and I feel like if I would have stayed on that road, it could have gone somewhere, and that's exactly what Rocksmith is for.
Rocksmith, the nicest thing that people tell me about Rocksmith is they've tried all these other methods to learn how to play guitar, and they all failed, but this is the one that stuck. And part of that is
why do you think that is?
Well, for 2014, like there was Rocksmith 1 back in like 2011.
So this we got the new version. If you're watching on video, here are the parts of it. Parts of it. Rocksmith all new 2014 edition for 360. But here now we have the Xbox One version.
And honestly, it is the same experience, like the same tutorials and the same sort of structure. But 1080p, which is nice. Connect voice commands. That work pretty consistently.
That's actually a game where Kinect would probably be super useful.
You don't want to pick up the controller any more than you have to, but if you say Rocksmith at the beginning of it when you're playing on Xbox One, it'll then bring up a menu and you can see like next, previous, select. And then some things you can just call out Guitarcade or session mode or whatever. But yeah, the thing that struck me when I played 2014, because I was like, I'll admit, I was like an okay fan of the first game. I was like, well, that's good, but there's a lot of room for improvement. And then I saw what they did with 2014, and the way that people want to learn how to play guitar is that they hear a song and they want to play it, right? They don't want to sit down and go, well, here is this string and this is what this string does. It's much more, you hear Foo Fighters on the radio, you go, ooh, I would like to do that, please. So when you start Rocksmith, it just opens up that way. You learn a song. You select learn a song. It's the first thing. Here's 50 songs. Without buying any DLC, here's 50 songs. What do you want to learn? And anything that looks good, okay, well, just start your lesson there. And everything is contextual, so you'll get better at that song, and it shows you getting better at that song. But afterwards, like if you screw something up, it'll say like, oh, well, you know what, you had a little trouble with this chord. Why don't we review this chord? Or you know what, that song requires you to slide, but you haven't taken our Slides 101 lesson. So let's do a little interactive lesson with video, and then we'll play it, and then you do it. And so and then after a while, it's just like, why don't you play this whole like mini arcade retro game about slides where you're a little ninja?
Stuff, like the Guitarcade stuff is really where Rocksmith came together for me. Like it was cool to learn to play songs and like follow along and kind of understand the chord progressions of those songs like in the moment, and then do better, improve. It throws more chords at you. It's great. And the tutorials are really helpful, but the Guitarcade stuff, where it's like, okay, you're going to be flying through it's like a Star Foxy kind of fly through space game.
What?
Yeah, it's really weird, but it works, right? Because a ship like you see an enemy ship and a C chord pops above it. It just says
it's like
play
Typing
C.
of the Dead.
It's like Typing of the Dead,
Typing of the Dead with
chords.
guitars.
So, well, we actually have something called Return to Castle Chord Dead, where it is a full-on House of the Dead style game with
really
zombies,
good.
and the zombies come at you, and they have chords on them.
That's awesome.
And then you learn more chords as you go through. But it's actually a linear narrative, the way that like the House of the Dead.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that stuff was really good.
You know
not
what
only...
the star chord is?
Oh, yeah.
That G. Thank you. House of the Dead called that. There you go.
So, and then a big selling point with Rocksmith is that unlike Rock Band 3, where they did have that pro mode, you had to buy actually a special one unique guitar. This Rocksmith comes with a USB dongle that lets you plug in any guitar, correct?
Yes. Yeah, any guitar with like standard tuning and a 1/4-inch jack, which is pretty much every solid body ever made.
Right.
Certainly the one collecting dust in your closet or in your uncle's closet or that's hiding under the bed that you didn't even know was there. Any guitar will
What's Ben
work.
doing here? I never bought this.
Yeah, any electric guitar, any electric bass, same thing will work.
Yep.
So you can learn lead, rhythm, or bass, and you can switch between them at any time, and it'll track you separately. We have a partnership with Gibson and Epiphone. Obviously, there's a lot of really good starter instruments from Epiphone, and there's a lot of really choice instruments from Gibson on the higher end. But any guitar will work.
I love my Epiphone Les Paul. Love that thing.
So, because it's obviously it's a little more than $60 because it comes with the dongle, right? It's how much is it again?
It's 80 for 80 for the retail version, which comes with a cable. There is no retail version without the cable because it's the first time it's on the platform, so you can't assume. But if you have a cable, any of the existing cables will work. They're universal. You can switch them between any of the platforms.
So if I had this on 360,
if you had it on 360, that cable works, and you can get a digital download for $60.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So if you don't want now there is a multiplayer mode, couch co-op, so that you can play together with people. So having a spare cable is not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
Sure.
But yeah, if you're just one of those people that's like, I've gone fully digital, well, that's fine.
Are you guys selling an Xbox One, PlayStation 4 bundle like with a guitar this time?
No.
Okay.
So we did that last year, where you could actually get an Epiphone Les Paul Jr. with the game, but this year it's just the software. You can understand retailers are like, you want us to do what?
yeah.
So yeah, we simplified it this year. It's just one version at retail.
And what I like about this game too is it actually has a nice mix. There's a good mix of music in here. I mean, everything. I think we got just on the box, Aerosmith, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Rolling Stones, but then some of the newer stuff that the kids love.
The kids,
as well.
they're into that alternative.
The
call it now.
The Rise Against and the Avenged, the A7Xs.
The A7X
of the
we
world.
have A7X in there.
So I knew
I discovered,
the lingo.
Like playing that, I think there's like a Cure song. I think.
Yeah.
That introduced
Boys Don't Cry is in there.
That introduced me to the Cure, and I was like, this is awesome.
It's one of the nicest
Boys
things
Don't
about
Cry
music
is
games.
so good.
You don't know what you like until you hear it.
Yeah.
You guys have the Who on here, My Generation, and
yes, we do.
The Who and Rock Band got me into the same thing. I got into the Who because of Rock Band, so this game will do that for you too.
Did you play it on 360, Mitch?
Yeah.
So did you wind up buying any DLC for it or getting any DLC?
Remember, I think I did like a Pixies pack.
Okay,
is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no.
Pixies are a band.
The Pixies are a band. I think
Was
there's
there
a Pixies band.
Okay, maybe like a Weezer download.
There's definitely
Weezer's not a band.
Maybe it's a Weezer.
That was a made up.
Here's the problem. There's 500 songs for the game, so I have trouble remembering them all. But
what are they paying you for, Dan? Come on.
I know. I'm supposed to have Total Recall
together.
on 500 songs in Rocksmith. But if you bought DLC on 360, it will transfer forward to Xbox One.
Do I have to pay like a licensing fee?
No.
Okay.
If you had
Harmonix was fleecing us that whole time.
No.
License has already been real.
This actually took quite a bit of wrangling to make it work. But it's sort of like, I know Pinball FX does the same thing. If you bought the pinball table on 360, they give you the permission. So we're still working that out. So like right now, singles all work, but if you bought it in a pack, it doesn't work. But it's going to work out. So like if you're one of those people that's like on the fence, like, well, I don't. If 360 is working for you, we're going to keep making stuff for 360. We're doing weekly DLC.
Still
Weekly DLC this week. Is our first repeat pack, our encore pack for Foo Fighters. So we have 5 new Foo Fighters songs.
Oh, new songs.
You marketers.
I thought it was just going to be old songs.
It's Monkey Wrench.
Gotcha.
It's classic stuff. It's nothing from the new album. A lot of people thought it was going to be from the brand.
That's like
new
a really
album,
good entry point Foo Fighters song.
Yeah. And we have basically man, the last couple of weeks have been insane. But the next couple of weeks are going to all be like, you know these bands, you've heard of these bands, they're major bands. At least one of them is a band that I know you really like.
Oh, okay.
The big thing is that our DLC season for the year kind of ends with Jimi Hendrix. We have a 12 songs from Jimi Hendrix. Normally we do 3 or 5 songs. We were able to land Jimmy, so we're doing 12
Jimmy is
songs.
having a better career now that he's dead.
I don't know about that. I think that he would still be making an awful lot if he could play live. But yeah. So the nice thing is, if you buy the Xbox One version and the PS4 version, if you buy the Xbox One version, I don't know if that's a dirty word on your show.
It's
All right.
Video games are video games.
What about the Wii U version?
There is no Wii U version.
A gif of a tumbleweed rolls by.
If you get the Xbox One version between now and the end of January. The Hendrix DLC comes out in mid-December for all platforms.
Yeah.
It's free to Xbox One owners for that 6 weeks period.
Nice.
So January 31st.
Console war over.
No, Sony, the PlayStation 4 gets it as well. Sorry.
Console war resumes.
Everybody is going to get the content, but only Xbox One and PS4 get it free. That's just sort of like, well, why would I upgrade? Sure. And a lot of people ask that, and it's a fair question. Because they're like, well, it is essentially the same thing, but if you're like, we hear from a lot of people saying, this is the only reason I still have my 360 connected. I have completely moved on.
Yeah.
But Rocksmith, and so this gives you an option. So that's a $30 value. It's going to be $30 when that's, but it's Purple Haze, it's Manic Depression, it's If 6 Were 9, it's Red House, which a lot of people, if you're into Hendrix, like you want to play his
6 Were 9.
I don't know. It's awfully.
So I got a real question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been listening to a lot of this album lately called 1989 by a singer-songwriter called Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Is she in the game?
No, but we've talked about that.
Right.
So we have a public request app that anybody can type in anything.
All right.
And yes, we get requests for Taylor Swift. And
I have a phone.
we're
It's about to tell them. I realize I don't have
it's
one.
all good.
Does she hate Rocksmith as much as she hates Ardio?
Well,
and Spotify?
see, that's the thing. So this is one of the big things, because there's a lot of artists that are not in the game yet that we would love to get in the game. Yeah. And the truth is, sometimes these guys just don't want to be in Rocksmith. Doesn't matter how cool we think it is. Now, I'm happy to say that some artists have been like, no, thank you. And we wait a little while, and we go back, we're like, how about now? And then they say, yeah, okay. And some of that is like, oh, so you're not a flash in the pan. Like, Rocksmith is here. Rocksmith is legitimate. And look, all my other friends in all these other bands have also signed up with you, and they're not unhappy. So, but there are some bands that like we approach, and they're just like, we're simply not interested. It's not how we want our music used.
Classic Radiohead.
Damn it, Jimmy Page and
no,
Robert
we have
Plant.
Radiohead in the game. We have Radiohead in the game. They're actually on the disc. Yes. So,
I thought that was gonna be some smug Radiohead.
No.
Not T Swift would do it though. She's the voice of our generation.
Yeah, we've actually talked about it. We've been like, because we're open to having anybody in the game. If that's if that's what inspires you to learn how to play guitar, then great. There's no judgment here. There's a lot of judgment on Facebook.
Shocking.
If you can imagine, we put out DLC, and every week we have, that's awesome, it's my favorite band, and directly under it, this is terrible, bring out the following 85 bands, and they will type in all 85 bands. I'm like, you just need to go to this little webpage that we have set up and tell us what artist and what song.
I mean, I would think, though, that by and large, in the video game community as it is today, that the Rocksmith community is probably one of the nicer places to be on the internet.
I am happy to say that was one of the reasons I wanted the job, because like, well, you're going to be in charge of this community. And I looked at the community and I was like, oh man, this is so not the communities I've been used to dealing with from the Activision side. I'll just say that. A lot of the guys, the people in our forums are generally older guys too. They're like 40, 45.
Yeah.
They've like the kids
midlife crisis. I want to learn how to play guitar because my dreams died when I was 18.
Exactly. Wow. I peaked early, and all I have now is Rocksmith. No. They buy a really nice guitar, and this is their life goal. Or they're the person who learned how to play in high school when a lot of people learn how to play, and then they got away from it because they had to do other stuff with their lives, and now they're like, I miss that, and I plateaued, and I want to get a little bit better. So while the game is actually, we'd like to not call it a game so much as a learning experience.
Like Gone Home.
Yeah. It's not quite.
Discover
your
sexuality.
Quite like Gone Home. Wow, that's the first time I've ever seen Rocksmith connected to Gone Home. Well done.
Thank you.
It was not even a palindrome.
That's what you go in the attic to play at the end.
You get your guitar. Just opens up in effort.
Now I forget what I was saying. But yeah, so it doesn't assume that you know anything. Like actually, one of the first videos in the list of lesson videos is this is how to put the strap on the guitar. Because it drives me crazy. We worked with somebody who used to wear it like a medallion.
No!
Jeez.
Yeah, Corey
used
to wear it like he was Flavor Flav, and he had like this giant thing. hanging. So like they don't take anything for granted, but at the same time, the game listens to you and learns how you are. So it'll throw you some notes. Like it starts you out sort of basic, and then if you do those notes well, it's like okay, and it automatically adjusts. So dynamic difficulty is a big thing that Rocksmith does that other things don't do. So like if you're good, you don't have to play very long before it goes, okay, we see you've got this, and it will automatically ratchet all the songs up to that. At the same time, if you find like, oh man, I can't play that chord yet, it's like, okay, relax, and it'll ratchet the difficulty down.
Rocksmith is Skynet.
It's just listening.
Sentient.
That's the point of that special cable that comes with it. Is it listens to you.
What are like the metal options like? I'm on like a big metal kick recently, and I'm falling back in love with it now. I'm like,
we just put out Kill Switch Engage. We've got Lamb of God. We've got Mastodon.
Okay.
What we've got Avenged Sevenfold. A lot of our
Hey, System of Down.
What?
That was an awesome surge right there. You broke Mitchie. Mitchie's just gone now.
That's all I can think of when I see System
We also
of a Down.
have Megadeth.
I thought you got sick for a second.
We have Megadeth. We have Dio. We just put out some stuff that we politely called Arena Rock.
Iron Maiden.
All of our yes, we have
Rock.
Iron Maiden. 2 minutes to midnight is in. We have.
We listen to different music.
Yes, we did.
Quickly realizing that.
But we finally did some arena rock, which our fans called hair metal. Which we were like, well, we don't want to be insulting. Some people consider that.
Sure.
But it's Wingers 17. It's Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. So the aluminum foil.
Butt rock.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's butt rock.
Totally.
I always used to call it tin foil in the 80s because everybody was like, that's metal. I'm like, that's not metal. Like, Dio is metal. And yes, we have Dio too.
Excellent.
We have Holy Diver.
It's the only one you need.
Ride the Tiger. Yeah,
It's actually
there.
just 80 versions of that song on this.
And if you would have sang one more line, we would have had to not have this on YouTube.
Sorry. I know. Yeah,
we were very close.
Toeing the line.
We'll just auto-tune that out.
So yeah, we are
Johnny Cash, I
constantly
walk the
taking
line.
and implementing user requests, and yes, the metal community is super vocal, and
Excellent.
we're trying to make you guys as happy as
My
humanly
people.
possible.
Sidebar, Marty.
Hi.
Kanye versus T Swift.
Oh man, holy crap! Someday I want them to get married and become like the king and queen of my life.
But what about Kim?
I don't like him.
No, I mean,
Yeah, mediocre.
Dan, it is good to have you here.
Thanks. It's great to be here.